Le moment est enfin arrivé, je dois dire que j'étais extrêmement excitée aussi. Avant de commencer et de presser play, je vous invite à activer les sous-titres parce que cette vidéo est en anglais, donc vous pouvez avoir les sous-titres dans n'importe quelle langue, ou même en anglais si ça vous botte et que vous avez envie de travailler votre anglais. Voilà, bon visionnage, à plus!
See ourselves if you don't want to see ourselves.
To see ourselves?
Yeah, you can flip it so you don't have to.
Oh, no, I think it's helpful, actually.
Oh, really?
Alright, so what the hell are we doing?
We're getting married! Hello, my love!
Hello, my love!
I thought that it would be cool if we told the story, not just for them, but for us to remember, so that when we're gray and like old and gray and crusty
Old and stinky.
yeah, and you don't really remember why you decided to do this, to embark on this journey with me, then you would get to have it.
You really think that's possible? That I would forget why we went on this journey together?
Oh, okay, all right, that was very cheesy. Can I ask you,
Yeah.
how did you know you want to marry me?
Oh, God. I mean, it's hard to put into words because it was just so, like, guttural. It was such a gut reaction. I think, like, I just kind of knew. You and I had become so close, and we had spent all these sort of long weekends together, and just, I was so comfortable and so safe with you. And, it was just so obvious once I realized that you were my person. It was just so obvious that we should get married. It felt really important to me, given my inconsistency over the course of a few years, to make it very clear how committed I was to you and to our little one. I felt like she needed some more reassurance that I wasn't going anywhere, because she was clearly becoming very attached. And then I didn't feel like you needed it, but it felt important, I think, more as much to me to make that commitment really clear. And then also I started thinking about it, and my therapist was like, well, like, let's you know, I don't want this to send you into like an anxiety attack, so like, let's not do it unless we know we're ready. And so I kind of had gone back and forth on, like, I knew I was going to do it, I just didn't know how soon. And I remember I talked to my sister Maggie, and she was like, because I knew I was going to do it, it just was a matter of like whether I was going to do it in France or whether I was going to wait. I had thought about doing it in France or picking sort of a more random date in November, or doing it on your birthday. And Maggie was like, dude, you made her wait like 3 years. Don't make her wait anymore. And I was like, okay, that's not wrong. And to be honest, if we hadn't had that France trip coming up, I probably would have waited until later in the year.
Yeah.
The problem is that also I probably wouldn't have, because the moment I made the decision, I walked over to the jewelry store in 12 South, and I found this ring, and it wasn't huge, and it was something I knew you'd wear, and it had 3 diamonds on it, and I was like, that's me, Piot, and you. Like, it just made so much sense. Like, Maggie and I had already talked about, like, maybe even designing like a triangle ring, or, you know, something with a something that represented the 3 of us. And it was like, well, done.
It's the Holy Trinity.
And no. If you weren't going to hell before, you definitely are now. It seemed so clear, and let's be honest, like, the moment I bought it, it was imminent. And, you know, like, in some ways, it probably was almost too soon for both of us. Like, we probably could have both used some more time to, like, settle in to all this. But on the same level, like, I think the moment was perfect. And I already knew 100% that we were going all in on this thing. But, you know, and I think, you know, part of it was like, look, I know I love her. I know I love her child. I'm 40 years old. I've been fucking around for a really long time. And this is the person who makes me feel at home and at peace and safe. And you know,
That's the plumber.
like, should I answer?
No,
Okay.
it's okay. We can wait a little bit. We have a leak.
Worst case scenario, we, you know, have to deal with some anxiety on both of our parts.
I think that no matter what, anyways, we would have, because it's a big thing. I didn't know that I wanted to get married again until. I mean, I wouldn't say until I met you, because I met you like very quickly after I separated. But yeah, I wouldn't be getting married if it wasn't you.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was going to deal with anxiety and some mild panic. Actually, I was talking to some women who work in 12 South, and I was telling them about, you know, getting engaged. I was like, you know, I know she's my person. She's my peace, my comfort, you know. I had to work through a couple of panic attacks, and given how long I was single and how hard commitment, you know, I guess really how unsafe romantic relationships have felt in the past, and therefore commitment was really complex for me. And there were all these sort of micro traumas and medium-sized traumas that happened. I was always gonna, you know, like Christina, my therapist, said long ago that when I got into a long-term relationship, I was probably gonna need more therapy, not less. But I think even during some of those times of anxiety, like, I never doubted that you were my person, like, deep down. And that I wanted to marry you and I wanted to make a life with you. And, you know, it's kind of wild how fast it happened, and it's led to some, you know, sort of pushed us into some conversations that might have happened later down the road. But, you know, I'm also glad that we're, you know, I tend to take a really long time to make decisions, and then once I do, I'm like, boom, let's go all in. Let's just fucking do it. And this was, you know, that way. You know. And it was time for us to start making a family, you know.
Well, we already have a family.
That's what I mean, though, is like, it was time, I think, it felt like it was time, like, I want, even down to the technicality, like, I want you to have power of attorney, you know, like, I want, if something happens to me, I want you to be the one, I want you to be the beneficiary of whatever,
Yeah.
you know, like, I want, you know, I don't know, I want to integrate our lives together in a way that is more than just, you know, like, I want us to make the emotional, psychological commitment, but also, like, the little things that I think end up mattering in the long run.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I think
of marriage is the reason for marriage versus just sort of just partnership.
I think it's just it's such a big commitment of love to do something like that, because it is a big deal. Like, you know, having been divorced before, it's a huge thing to say yes to. But I've never been more sure of something in my life, and I think that that's quite incredible, because I've never been, it's not true, I've been sure about things, and I guess I was sure for my first...
Yeah, at the time.
You know, but it's...
I've never been this sure and this healthy at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. And, like, I'm not 22 anymore, you know, like, I have 11, 12 years of growth between those two decisions, and...
well,
yeah,
and some of it, sorry.
No, it's fine. I just, you know, there's something really beautiful and unique about our love. Not to say that it is not, like, that nobody has something like this, but what I mean is that for me, in my romantic, you know, life and experience, or even not romantic, relationship-wise, I've never connected with someone as much as I connect with you. And I think, you know, Kelsey might be the closest to that, which it feels, I don't like the word soulmate, because I think it's really cheesy, and it's like, I don't believe in soulmates, but I believe that there are people that just connect more easily, and I feel that, and so I want all of it.
Yeah.
I want the hard stuff. I want, I want to dig deep, and I want to love you entirely. And for me to get married to you feels like an extension of that.
Well, and it's, it's funny because, and it's not to say that we don't connect very deeply. I think we do, but I've had connection. But for me, it's about the peace you bring me. It's the safety. Like, that's the part that I haven't experienced.
Yeah, and I
much
think
is like,
you can have connections with, narcissistic people. Like, they can
well,
make
that's
you...
certainly the healthiest connection I think I've probably ever had.
Yeah, and I think that's, biggest difference when you find that person. And I think that's also why I sticked with you for such a long time, is because I felt this connection, and I knew you were a good person. Deep down, no matter what we were going through, no matter what our relationship was looking like I genuinely knew that you were someone good and kind and brave and bold and all of these things. That, you might have been struggling then and before, whatever, but...
Yeah. Well, I think the other reason why is, as I've said to you when I got scared or something, don't make me go back to being a bachelor. please don't make me go back to dating. I can't fucking do it anymore.
I'm glad that you've exhausted that.
But I think the point is, like, the realization how lonely I was and how much I needed you, and I needed family, and I needed a place that was my place.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that maybe isn't, valued as much as it
should. Yeah. So we got engaged.
Yes. Should I give details on the actual engagement?
Yeah, and I will say that he was right about the ring. I don't know that it will have worked, but yeah, I love it. I wear it. It's perfect.
I mean, I probably, I could have afforded a bigger diamond, but I didn't want to get you something you wouldn't wear.
Yeah, I wouldn't have worn a bigger diamond, or I would have been bothered by it, honestly. And
it's just not you. This is you.
It is. It really, truly is. And I love the idea of a trio. There's something very satisfying about that to me.
That's why I gave Piat a ring as well. Is that
Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Let's just go. Yeah, okay, but no. Let's just go back to the beginning. So, I knew you were going to propose. I didn't know when. We had had conversations.
I had hoped to keep it a total secret from you, but then during an important conversation, I told you I'd bought a ring.
It had never been a total secret because he literally, the first weekend he spent here, he was like, let's go get married.
Right.
That
was not the first weekend.
Like,
I had officially moved in when I said that. I remember Why mess around? I don't remember things, and she remembers everything.
Yeah.
But also, sometimes I think she uses that against me when I might actually be right. I can't be wrong this consistently. You gotta figure that even a blind squirrel can find a nut on occasion. I'm the blind squirrel. The nut is a memory.
Point being is that we had conversations before you even mentioned
you knew that I and we were that serious. I mean, we were on the same page about that. I mean, the idea, like you see, in movies, people being surprised by an engagement and saying no. It's like, if you're not real damn sure you're getting the yes, I don't know why you would ask that question.
Yeah.
That's a big question to ask without, knowing that there's a real commitment from both of you.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, so you didn't know when. You suspected it would happen on our trip to France.
Yes, it made more sense. I figured it was either then or you're always picking out some things.
You had something in your teeth.
Oh yeah, feel it. Sorry, I was eating some hummus.
Yeah, I think it's the hummus.
Yeah. A little olive. Thanks, babe.
You're so peaty. You have a lovely personality.
Thank you, so do you, baby. Yeah, I thought you were gonna do it in France. It just made sense. I thought that would be a memorable way. Sounds bougie when you tell all your peeps back home, I proposed in France, although it was Belgium.
It wasn't Paris, and it was Belgium.
Yeah, it was not France, it was Belgium.
I made sure it wasn't in Paris.
Which...
That seems cheesy.
God, it's very cheesy. Although, I can't judge if it happens to you. That's beautiful, and I'm really happy for you.
It's cheesy, I think, when Americans do it in Paris. If I lived in France or lived in Paris, and you got engaged there, that feels different. Anyways, I don't know.
Well, yeah, of course it feels completely different. But it was very special to me that it was in Belgium because, Belgium is a country that I really love. I love the people. I love everything. So, anyway, I figured that was going to happen.
I didn't sleep the whole flight there overnight. I mean, not even like 10 minutes, I don't think. Crushed some Ted Lasso episodes. In part because my tailbone, I have a bruised tailbone. It was really hard to get comfortable. The dude next to me fell asleep 5 minutes in. Didn't wake up until first thing in the morning. Turned out to be the nicest guy. Had a great conversation. He was going to...
Antwerp.
Antwerp. Whatever. I don't know why I tried to use an accent. And actually, he was one of the few people that knew I was going to propose on the trip.
Yeah.
But I've got two carry-ons, and the smaller one had the rings in it, and so I'm like holding it the whole time like this. And so that was a Thursday that I arrived. Friday, we were trying to take a nap, and I couldn't sleep, and I realized I was like, I have to do it today because I'm not going to sleep until I do it. And we were going to Denain.
Bohan.
Bohan. Denain was where we went. Yeah.
The day after.
Right. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're going to Bohan. I didn't know whether there would be a spot there or not, or whether we would go to a spot there. And I'd also really considered doing it in the backyard of your childhood home. That just felt like it could have some really, cool meaning to it. But so I knew I was going to do it either when we got home or while we were in Bohan. And Bohan was having a bunch of street construction. The town is really cute, but just didn't look great on that particular day. It was gray and...
Any of my followers from there will laugh at that, I'm sure. Constructions in Belgium are horrible.
Yeah, it's always going on.
Always going on, never ending.
So I was kind of like, okay, well, I guess this isn't going to happen. Should I really do it at her house? Like, is that doing it at your house? Is that lazy? I don't know. I just was very unsure. Like, I didn't know whether that would be cool to you or not.
You put so much thought into it.
Oh my God. I mean, I'm an overthinker, babe.
Yeah, I know. I know. And I mean, that's also why I said, I knew I was going to say yes. Because I'm like, it's going to be epic.
So then... Your mom suggested, I think, that we go see this...
I did.
Flower garden beside a castle. Yeah. I was like, ooh, Belgian castle, let's go. And so we got up to the top, we were underneath the castle, and we were overlooking the town, and it was so beautiful. Even though it was kind of gray, it was a gray day. I was like, this is it, done. And I had written a letter to her parents that I had one of your best friends... translate, Emily. Mm-hmm. What's Emily's tag? Should we give her a shout out?
Chef Emily.
Yeah. Worth a follow. And she had done a beautiful job. So she was the only one of your friends that knew it was coming and just cried the whole time. Every time I talked to her about it. She saw the ring beforehand. She cried then too. So I said to you, will you tell your parents I have a surprise? Mm-hmm. And you said, what the hell are you doing? Or something to that extent.
I did.
Like, what the F? So you hand the letter, your mom read it out loud, it was in French, so I didn't know what was going on. And Piot,
I'm holding back tears.
Didn't know what was going on.
No.
So Piot has this umbrella that she got, that she just really wants to use.
May I say that didn't you buy it for her?
Probably. Yeah, I think so. I tend to... shower her in gifts.
Which then comes back to bite you and me.
Yeah. So many things come back to bite
it's barely raining, but it's windy.
No, yeah. It wasn't raining at all. but it was windy, and so the thing's like pulling on her, and she's about to have a meltdown. And so I pick her up, and I said, Piotr, you've got to lock it up. I'm about to propose to your mom. I need you to hone it in here, like lock this thing up. And she goes, and gives me that face.
Exact same.
And this the whole time your mom is reading it, and I wasn't sure, like, obviously I was never going to ask for their permission. That's not their choice. I did ask for their blessing and ask if there were any other customs I might be missing, French customs. And your dad said, well, you're supposed to get us rings too.
Yeah,
was the joke.
He did. I'm surprised he didn't talk about sheeps and cows.
So after they finished and your dad made a joke, I got down on one knee. I bought a box with 2 ring slots in it. So I had a little one in there for Piotr and then one for you. And I first proposed to Piotr because I thought, I mean, if she says no, then I don't know what the point is in proposing to you at this moment. That we got some other shit we're going to have to work through if she says no. And so, I told her that from the day I met her, I knew that we were intended to be a big part of each other's lives, and that I loved her, and that I wanted her to be my stepdaughter. And she said yes. Maybe just because she loved the ring. I don't know.
Oh, she was like, oh my gosh, jewelry.
Yeah. And then, to be honest, I'm kind of making this part up because I don't totally remember anything that I said. I just remember saying to you, you're the most important person in my life, and I want to spend the rest of it with you, or something along those lines.
Yeah, you repeated what I had told you a few days back when I said that I may not be the best person, but I'm the best person for you.
That is true.
And it may be the only thing that I remember of that moment as well, because
what a great line.
I'm trying to hold myself together the second you tell me that you have a surprise for my parents, because I already know where this is going.
Right.
And the letter was so I don't even want to say thoughtful. It was full of thought, but it was more in, I don't know. It meant so much to me that you really tried to communicate with my parents, and that it was important for you to involve them in this moment, because they had probably never felt that, from anyone I've ever been with.
Yeah.
That desire to actually have them be part of this, and how important it is, how important they are, honestly.
Yeah. Well, and it's hard. I'm gonna have in-laws that it's hard to communicate with.
Yeah.
And I think, I feel like I need to constantly be looking for ways to tear down those barriers in order to communicate with your parents.
Yeah.
Because I want to have a relationship with my in-laws, and
it's huge.
We'll
for
figure
me.
it out.
Yeah, it's huge for me, and it's it's another reason why I said yes, and I knew I would say yes, because I know that you are that way, and it means a lot, because it's such a big part of who I am. Like it's been a really long time since I left France, and since I left my parents, and it's really important that they're still part of me, and not the decision making per se, but at least the process of it. So yeah, I don't remember anything you said. My dad was supposed to, he picked up his phone and he thinks he's filming, but he's not filming. And
so we have a very... He filmed some of it, but you can't hear anything because of the wind.
Exactly. And he said he wanted to only film the most important part, so he didn't film all of it. And I'm like, who are you to decide? I'm so glad you're here, but who are you to decide
saving gigabytes.
No, exactly. Come on. I gave him a Google phone. Why are you doing me dirty?
Oh, man.
But we have a very short video that is very cute and sweet. I love that moment actually captured in the video is imperfect in the sense that you're handing me the ring, forgetting that you're supposed to put it on my hand.
Yeah, I was just like, here.
Take it, please take it.
There you go. Well, I mean, and this kind of goes to the way the experience afterwards. I had so much nervousness beforehand. It was just sheer relief afterwards. Like, I don't even know how much excitement I felt immediately after. I was just like, oh, thank God she has the ring and I don't have to come up with a way to do this now. and of course, like, your mind, you know, immediately goes to, like, racing and all that. And
Yeah.
that's how I'd been before. And so that moment encapsulated my mind just being like, here.
Just take it.
Like,
just take it. At that moment,
it's like,
the rush of emotion.
It's like shock.
Yeah, shock. That's what it was.
Like,
it was
it's like,
shock. And it was so...
It's adrenaline. Like, your memory in your brain goes to, like, being fully in the moment, not, like, thinking about what you're doing or thinking, or, like, creating memories. Like, that's just the way our brain works.
Yeah.
And so, like, my brain was... There was nothing in it when I was doing that. I was just, like, having to hope that the ideas I'd come up with about what to say would come out of my mouth. It was just sheer luck that even any words came out.
I mean, honestly, you were shaking a little bit too, but your voice was very still.
Yeah.
So, oh, it's our people again.
Now we get to plan a wedding.
We're getting married. I'm excited. And that's all I will say about that, because I am not sharing details of of anything.
No.
Maybe down the line when it's, you know, said and done. But the rest...
It's ours for now.
The rest is ours for now.
I love you. How cheesy are we?
We're so cheesy.
But cute.
Yeah, we are very cute. I've become so cheesy I don't recognize myself sometimes. It's like, why am I so cute?
And yet she gives me shit when I'm cheesy.
Well, I don't know what to say. I've never been used to it, neither from you or anyone.
Yeah, I did. Well, I went very quickly from being a little bit distant to being cheesy and very loving. So it's not a surprise that you're surprised.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Thank you so much for watching.
She's the best, isn't she?
Yay. He's the best too.
Luckiest man on the planet. Indubitably. I'm not sure that means what I think it means.
All right, let's call back our people.
Okay.
Hey Charlie, this is Heather at Clarksville Plumbing Pros.
Oh my gosh, Heather.
I can have a check come out this morning if you can just give me